All right, thank you. So good afternoon and welcome to the chemistry session of our chemistry class this afternoon. My name still remains Ms. Markadis Esther, and today our topic for today is chemicals. Okay, our topic this afternoon is going to be centered on chemicals. All right, so I also have my slides to share. Feel free to ask questions if you do not understand. All right. All right, I believe you can see what I'm sharing. Okay. So our topic this afternoon is chemicals. Now, chemicals are substances, okay, that are used by humans, and chemicals are everywhere around us, okay? From the water we drink, the food we eat, and the clothes we wear, all are made what? They are made up of what? Of chemicals. So I have my basic concept or basic definition of what chemicals are. Now, what is a chemical? A chemical is defined as a substance that is an element or a compound. Now, a combination of two or more elements will give us a compound. And this chemical has a definite chemical composition. Okay? And these chemicals that we use literally every day are produced or are manufactured in what? In companies or industries. So chemical industries basically means what? Companies that are responsible for the production of what? Industrial what? Chemicals. What they do is that they convert what? Raw materials from oil, from natural gas, from the air we breathe, from the metals we mine from the earth crust, and also from the minerals we obtain from the earth as well, into what? Many what? Useful products that are beneficial to humans. And they contribute what? Majorly to the world what? Economy. Now, how are these chemicals gotten? Where are they obtained from? Where can we get chemicals? Now we have two major sources or two raw materials for the chemical industries. Now these raw materials are used in the production of chemicals, and they are useful for man-made products and can be broadly divided into two. So we have the organic raw materials, and we also have the inorganic raw materials. Now, what are organic raw materials? Now, organic raw materials are gotten from animals, they are gotten from plants, and they are also gotten from crude oil. Now, crude oil is actually formed from the remains of dead plants and animals that have decayed and buried, and through the action of high temperature and what pressure, they were gradually what converted into crude oil. And it is also known as what? As it's a fossil, okay? And it is used for the production of what? Petrols. Now, for the inorganic raw materials, they are raw materials of inorganic origin, not gotten from plants, not gotten from animals. Rather, they are gotten from air, from common salts, from iron ore, and from carbonate salt. So these two are the two keyword sources of raw materials used or converted by the chemical industries into useful products for the benefit of humans. All right, so I have some of the examples of the organic and the inorganic raw materials that are used by chemical industries. Now for the organic. Examples of organic raw materials, we have coal, we have natural gas, we have petroleum, we have animal oil, we also have vegetable oil. Now let me draw your attention back to our country, Nigeria. As a nation, we are gifted with some or to a greater extent, most of these organic raw materials. We have coal deposit in NECO. We also have the natural gas, and we also have petroleum that are deposited in the southern or the southern region of the country. And we all know how beneficial the petrol, the coal, the natural gas, and animal oils are very, very useful to us. Now, the coal is converted into coke, into coal tar, into coal gas, into producer gas, and also into water gas. For the natural gas, it is converted into domestic fuel, like the cooking gas that we use in cooking our food. And for the petroleum, it is converted into gasoline, kerosene, asphalt, petrochemical products, and also such as ethane, benzene, etc. All these are very, very beneficial or useful to us. Now, for the animal oil, it is converted into margarine and into what? Raw material for making what? For making soap. And for the vegetable oil, it is also used for what? For making oil for cooking and also for making what? Cream. So all these are some of the uses of the organic raw materials gotten from what? From the planet. Now we have the inorganic. So inorganic, we have, the first one is sodium chloride, NaCl. Now, what is sodium chloride used for? It is used for the production of chlorine gas. It is also used for the production of sodium metal. It is also used for making sodium hydroxide. All these are products that are gotten from the conversion of what? Sodium chloride. Now, sulfur. It is used for making what? For making tetraoxosulfate 6, which can be used as a lab reagent and also as a heavy as a heavy chemical as well, for the production of what? Fertilizer in the chemical industries. Now we also have carbonates such as calcium carbonate. It is used as quicklime and also as lime, and also used for the manufacturing of cement. Now we also have the aluminium silicate. It is used for making alumina and also for making other products. So all these are examples of of the inorganic materials that are used by the chemical industry. All right. So we have the natural sources as usual, and then we also have the inorganic sources that are not from the natural sources. Now let's look at the division of the chemical industries. Now here are some of the divisions of chemical industries. So we have industries whose job is to produce certain chemicals, and then other industries, they have their own products or the product in which they focus on production. So the chemical industries are divided on the basis of the raw materials they utilize and the products they produce. So the major divisions of the chemical industries are, we have the heavy chemicals industries, we also have fine chemicals industries, we also have the research chemical industries, we also have the fertilizer industry, we also have the plastic, we also have the metallurgical industry, we have the food and beverages, we have the pharmaceutical industry, we have the glass, the ceramics, the paint, the cosmetics, soap and detergents, cement industries. All are divisions of chemical industries. Now, let's see how we can look at these divisions one after the other. So the first one is the heavy chemical industry. Now, what are heavy chemicals? Now, the heavy chemicals, or also known as the bulk chemicals, they are chemicals produced and handled in large amounts and are often in more or less crude states. Now, meaning that the heavy chemicals are chemicals that are manufactured or produced in large quantity, but with a low degree of purity, because most of the heavy chemicals serve as raw materials or starting materials for the production of what we call the fine chemicals. And they are used to produce other viable products. Now they include some acids, some alkali, and also salts, like ammonia, like tetraoxosulfate 6 acid, like sodium hydroxide, like benzene, like chlorine, and like ethane. All these are produced in large scale and they are usually what? Cheap, because they are of low degree of purity. And they are produced with highly what? Optimized what? Continuous what? Process. So that is what the heavy chemicals are all about. Okay, so heavy chemical, I'm going to present it again. They are chemicals that are produced in large quantity by the heavy chemical industries, and they are of low degree what? They are of low level of what? Purity. Or we can put it this way, they are still in more or less what? Crude state. Now, the heavy chemicals, sorry, the fine chemicals. Now, what are fine chemicals? Now, fine chemicals are chemicals that are produced in small quantities for specific what? Purposes or applications. And they are very what? They are of high degree of what? Purity. So these are chemicals produced in small quantity to a very high degree of what? Of purity. That is what the fine chemicals are all about. So examples of these chemicals are what? Pharmaceutical what? Chemicals such as drugs, okay, flavoring agent that are used as food additives. We also have dyes. We also have paint. We have fragrance. We have tobacco. We have foundry. We have analytical reagents. And then we also have the agrochemical and also other industrial applications. So they are more expensive than the bulk chemicals because they are already in their full level of of purity. Okay, so that is what the fine chemicals are. So the basic difference between the heavy and the fine chemicals is that the heavy chemicals are produced in large quantity but with low degree of purity, while the fine chemicals are produced in small quantity but with high degree of purity. And in terms of cost, the heavy are less expensive. Okay, they are not as expensive as the fine chemicals because they are still in the crude state and can further be processed into what? Into the fine chemicals. All right, so we have the research chemicals. Now the research chemicals are produced when searching for synthetic routes. Now the research chemicals are more expensive than the fine chemicals. Now, one characteristic of a research chemical is that it is for laboratory research use only. Okay, so we have the dimethoxy used for what? Used during what? Surgery. Okay, and then we also have some table reagents, okay, that are used like the chloroform, okay, that can also be used for research purposes in the laboratories. Now, we also have the fertilizer industries. Now, the fertilizer industry is an agricultural or chemical industry, okay? It is centered on the production of agricultural chemicals that are used to improve crop yields. Now, these chemicals, we have the fertilizers, we also have the pesticides, okay? Yes, and then we also have basically for enriching the soil. So major elements, okay, supplied from the fertilizer to the plants are nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium. Now, nitrogen is an essential nutrient for plants. Phosphorus is also an essential nutrient for plants. And potassium is also an essential nutrient for plants. So the fertilizer chemicals or industries, okay, they are basically they produce fertilizers containing nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium. And if you're familiar with the fertilizer, you will notice that most of the fertilizer bags come with the inscription NPK. Now, nitrogen is obtained in the form of ammonia, which comes from fossil fuels, okay, and ammonia can also be produced through the process of ammonification. That is the decaying of can also be gotten through that process, the decaying of plants and animals. So examples of ammonium compound used are ammonium nitrate and ammonium tetraoxosulfate. Now, Phosphorus is obtained as rock phosphate treated with hydrogen tetrahydrosulfate 6 acid. And potassium is gotten in the form of what? Of its salt. Okay? And these three essential elements are combined together to create or to produce what? That can be used to improve what? The fertility of what? Of the soil. Now, we ingest into us, we take into our system, they are all packaged using what? Using plastics. Now, this plastic industry is manufactured what? Polymer materials, commonly called what? Plastics. And these plastics are actually gotten from further what? Refining of the fractions of crude oil into what we call the petrochemicals. So the petrochemicals are used in the manufacturing of what? The plastic what? Materials we use in packaging our food. So the plastic industry job is what? Is to see how these industries can convert what? The PET products, such as polyethylene, such as PVC, also known as polyvinyl chloride, and also polytetrafluoroethylene into what? Into plastics. For making what? For making plastic bottles, plastic plates, plastic material for making home appliances like some of the radios, some of the televisions. Okay, so that is the job of what? Of the plastic industries. Now we also have the metallurgical what? Industry. Okay, so what this industry does is to see how the ores or metals are converted into what? Into useful what? Materials to be used by humans. Okay, and we all know that metals like iron can be used for making essential components of some vehicles, and also for bridge constructions, and also for house construction. We also have copper for making copper wires. We also have, yes, for making copper wires, and also for making what? Coins. Okay, so these are some of the applications of what? Of the metals that are what? Gotten, okay, from different what? From different ores. And iron, for instance, can further be what? Be used to also produce what we call an alloy by combining it with another metal to form steel. Okay, and steel is used for making plates, it's used for making spoons, it's also used for making cans for packaging what? Food, and also used for designing what? Sinks, and also what? Other cooking what? Utensils. So this is actually what the job of what? The metallurgical what? Industry. Now we also have the food and the beverage what? Industry. So what does the food and beverage industry produce? Now what they do is that they produce various chemical what? Chemicals. Okay, so they produce food using different what? Chemical things. Food such as Milo, such as Cocoa Pops, yes, such as the cornflakes you ate, such as the milk you what? You use in making your tea. Okay, so the food and beverage industries in Nigeria include the UAC Food. We have the Coca-Cola Company. We also have the Unilever World Brothers in Nigeria. We also have even Dangote is into what? Food, producing certain what? Food and what? Beverages. Okay, we also have the Nestle, okay? Nestle, yeah. So all these are what? Food and beverages what? Industry in the country. So the chemicals are used in preserving and also in flavoring what? The food we eat. Okay, so the food and beverage industry, okay, use different chemical what? Processes to manufacture what? Flavoring agent, and also what? Coloring what? Agent for what? For enhancing the taste and the quality of what? Of our meals. All right. So we also have, take a look at what we have here is a diagram of what? Of a poultry farm. Okay, looking at the poultry birds, okay, they also feed on what? On their feet. And these feed are made from what? From the combination of certain chemicals in order to what? To aid the growth of what? Of the poultry birds, so as to enable them to produce more eggs for the consumption of what? Of humans. For human what? Consumption. Okay. So we have the pharmaceutical industry. Now, the pharmaceutical industry specializes in drug production, okay? And also what? These drugs are chemicals of high what? Purity. So drugs can be divided into the following. We have the anti-malaria drugs that are used for the treatment of what? Malaria. Okay, Quaterm is a perfect example of an anti-malaria drug. Okay, so what the anti-malaria drug do is that they inhibit what? The growth of what? Of the pathogen, which is called what? Plasmodium. Okay, we all know that malaria is caused by the, okay? So malaria is transmitted by the female Anopheles mosquito, but it is not the female Anopheles mosquito that causes malaria. As the mosquito is feeding on the blood, on the human blood, it is also introducing what the pathogen called what? Plasmodium. So with an effective anti-malaria drug, the drug introduced into the body will help to inhibit what? The growth or the increase in the population of what? Of the pathogen in the bloodstream. Now we also have analgesic. Now they are used as pain relievers. They help to relieve what? Or a patient of what? Of his or her what? Pain. A perfect example of a pain reliever is morphine, even though it is kind of abuse, but it is also what? A pain reliever. We also have ibuprofen, okay? We also have the diclofenac drugs. All these are what? Examples of analgesic. Now we also have sedatives. Now sedatives are drugs used to treat what? Anxiety, okay? And they can also be used to induce what? Sleep, okay? So individuals that are finding it difficult to sleep, okay, sedatives can be prescribed, but it is not ideal to take sedatives when it is not prescribed by a medical doctor or by a physician. Because when it is taken, okay, that slows the performance of the nervous system. So sedative, also known as what? We can also call them tranquilizers. They are drugs used to treat anxiety. And they also help to induce sleep, okay, and can cause dependence, okay. And these drugs include benzodiazepines, okay, and then we also have the barbiturates, okay. We also have this opidem, okay. All these are examples of of sedatives. Now we also have the antibiotics. Now the antibiotics are medicine used to treat a wide varieties of infections or diseases caused by bacteria, okay, from respiratory tract infections such as pneumonia, whooping cough, to urinary tract infections, skin infections, and also infected wounds. All these can be treated using antibiotics. Okay, all right. So we also have the glass industry. Now the glass industry, okay, so glass is actually produced from what? From sand. So sand is the key raw material for the manufacturing of what? Of glass. So the chemical formula for glass is what? It's silicon what? Silicon 4 oxide. Okay, so sand is used in making what? Glass. So we have the flint glass, which contains what? Trioxo silicate 4 of lead. So glass production involves two main methods. We have the float glass process that produces what? Shade glass. And we also have the glass blowing that produces what? Bottles and other what? Containers. Okay. And in the science lab, we have glassware, okay, which can be used to store what? Chemicals. Okay. We also have glass bottles for preparing what? Chemicals. Okay. And then we also have the float glass that are used for making sheet glasses. And these sheet glasses are used for making windows, glass doors, name them. Okay. So that is it about what? The glass industry. So here is a diagram of the glass bottle. And we all know that glass bottle is used for packaging some of the drinks we drink, and also for packaging food. okay, food, and also some food word colorant, okay. So we have, so these are some of the applications of what, of the glasses, of the glass wood material. Now we also have the ceramic wood industry. Now ceramic are made from clay, from mud, and also from sand and mud cement. Okay, so the ceramic industry prepare a wide range of materials like cup, plates. So we have the ceramic cups, we have the ceramic wood plates. Okay, and we all know that ceramics help to what, they help to they are very what, they're actually good, and some can be used for beautifying what, our environment, mostly what the inner, for use for inner what, for inner decoration. So a ceramic is a non-metallic solid material comprising an inorganic compound of metal. Okay, ceramic now include domestic, industrial, building what products, as well as a wide range of what, ceramic what. So all these are what, applications of what, of the ceramic what products. Now we have the soap and the detergent what industry. Now the soap are produced by alkaline what, hydrolysis. Alkaline such as sodium hydroxide, such as what, potassium what, hydroxide. So it is actually manufactured from what, hydrolysis of what, alkaline of what, fat and oil using caustic soda, okay, or caustic what, potash, okay. So alkaline, okay, of fat and oil, okay, and also what, by combining it with sodium hydroxide or potassium hydroxide, okay. So the caustic soda or potash are used as what, raw material in the production of what, soap, okay. And detergents are called what, soapless what, detergents. They are all synthetic what, products which contain organic what, surface what, active compound called what, the surfactant, using what, concentrated tetraoxosulfate. So the soap and the detergent what, industry, okay, combine what, fat and oil, okay, with what, with sodium hydroxide or potassium hydroxide to produce soap. And the name of that process is known as what, saponification. So that is the function of what, of the soap and detergent what, industry. So this industry are into soap making and into what, detergent what, making. We all know how important soap and detergent are to us. We use the soap and detergent for washing, for laundry purposes, okay, and also for cleaning what, dirty what, surfaces, and also for mopping, and also from cleaning of what, of gutters. So all these are some of the what, uses of what, soaps and what, detergents. So how do we prepare soap? So even in our common environment, we can actually what, acquire or get certain what, chemicals and what, and use that to what, to produce what, soap for our own domestic what, use. So all you need to do is to place 100 centimeters of palm oil or palm kernel in a 500 centimeter beaker and boil thoroughly. Okay. So add 50 centimeters of sodium hydroxide, drops by drops, into what, in hot oil. Heat the mixture vigorously and then keep stirring with glass rod for 30 minutes or more until emulsion is formed. So when the two combine, they form a what? They form a solution known as what? Emulsion. So solution is formed when a solid combined with what? With a solvent. So and also go further to add what? 20 centimeters of saturated solution of sodium chloride for salting. Okay. So add it to the soap in order to reduce what, solubility of the soap in what, in the solution. Okay, so when you allow the mixture to cool, you then what, remove the soap. So add dyes, perfumes, disinfectants, and then pour the soap into a mold and then allow it to solidify. This can be cut into a tablet or what, or bars. So these are actually what, summary of a simple what, the simple steps you can take to also what, produce soap at home for your own what, for your own use. But it is always ideal that when getting or that when looking, when buying these raw materials for the salt making, it is ideal to read what the precautions, okay? Because safety comes first in handling what chemicals. So we have the cement industry. So the cement industry, okay, uses what raw materials, okay, such as limestone to produce to produce what cement. A common cement industry in our country is the Dangote cement industry. And the limestone mixed together, okay, is used to form the cement. So when cement is cement is used So when cement is to be used, okay, it is mixed with sand and water. And we all know that when exposed to air, it sets hard mass called mortar. So the hardness of the mortar is due to the formation of what we call calcium trioxosilicate and also calcium trioxoaluminate, resulting from the reaction between calcium oxide, silica, silicon 4 oxide, and alumina, okay, present in the clay. So this reaction will form what we call mortar. And the cement plus sand and water can be used for binding in bridge construction and also in building construction. So we also have factors that determine the siting of chemical industry. So maximizing of profit, which also implies cost minimization, is the most important goal in their choice of places for location of industries. So for you to venture into this business, first of all, you have to think of profit maximization and also cost minimization. So factors you have to consider, individuals must consider inciting an chemical industry is one, as follows. So the first one is the availability of the raw material. So nearness to the source of the raw material is very important. Okay, let it be that in the environment where the industry is to be sited, okay, there should be constant availability of the raw material. So another one is proximity or nearness to market. It shouldn't be far from the market, because after production, you need the market to patronize whatever product you are producing in your industry. Another one is availability of labor. You need labor to work. You need individuals in the industry to work towards converting the raw material into finished goods. Now another one is closeness to river. Okay. Now these chemical industries, okay, uses water. Use water in processing literally most of literally all the products. But as they are producing and processing the products, they are also creating waste materials. So how would they be able to discard these raw materials? They need rivers. Okay, and mind you, this waste should not be ejected into the rivers without treatment. They ought to be treated before released into the water bodies. Okay, and don't forget the same river, okay, also supplies the industry with water. Okay, yeah. So another one is power supply or fuel. So it should be closer towards the source of fuel or source of power. Okay, so another one is that you have to consider the availability of power, because electricity, okay, which is also a power, is needed in operating is needed in operating the machines in the industry. So if the industry is located in an area with an area that is not experiencing constant light supply, that can hinder production. Okay, that can hinder production, because industry require we need light 24 hours for production. Now another one is transportation cost. So don't forget, we said proximity to market. If the industry is sited away from the marketplace, okay, that will result to what? To high cost of what? Transporting what? The product to the market. That is why it is advisable that industry should be sited closer to what? The market, so as to minimize what? The cost of what? Transportation. Now we have effects of chemical what? Industry. In as much as this chemical industry produce products that are useful to humans, they are also capable of what? Producing what? Products or what? Materials that can be harmful. Okay, so some of the effects of chemical industry are as follows. The first one is that what? These industries are capable of causing what? Environmental pollution, from water pollution down to air pollution, and also what? Land pollution. Another one is that this industry are capable of what? Destroying what? Soil structures. Okay, because industry that is into the use of what? Sophisticated what? Machines, okay, can actually what? And also production of what? Of chemicals that are not, that would decrease the fertility of the soil, okay, can actually what? Destroy the structure of the soil. Now, another one is that they are capable of causing flooding, gully erosion, and degradation of what? Of land. Okay. And another one is because if you look at the raw materials used in the chemical industry, like the paper industry now, the major material is actually what? Wood. Okay. And we all know how important wood is to humans. Wood helps to what? To reduce what? Flooding in an environment. It also helps to reduce what? Yes. It also helps to reduce what? Erosion. Okay, but when we keep cutting down trees without planting, it means that we're actually giving way to what? To some of these environmental what? Hazards, such as flooding, such as erosion, and such as degradation. And it can also cause what? Lead poisoning. For industry that are into what? Handling of lead, if it is not handled properly, okay, and it is released into what? Into the environment, that can result to what? To lead poisoning. And lead is a harmful what? Metal. It is a harmful what? Chemicals to our health. Okay. It can also cause overcrowding due to influx or migration of what? Of people. Take a look at the city. Now the city is more crowded than the village because of the high increase in what? In the number of what? Industry. So increase in industrialization can also result to what? Overcrowding. Okay. It can also result to overcrowding of population in a particular environment, because humans must work. They need to work. They have bills to pay. They need to make ends meet, and they also need a place to work. And this industry helps to work to provide employment to humans. It also helps to increase crime rates. Okay, like the vandals now that are into vandalization of crude oil in Nigeria, and it can also lead to water pollution. It can also cause high mortality rate due to polluted land, air, and water. And it can also cause food shortage and food crisis. So when there is an increase in population, when there is overcrowding of population in an environment, there will be an increase in the demand for food. Okay, and if care is not taken, that can result to food shortage and also food crisis due to demands of the increasing population. Now we have solutions to the problems created by industry. One is that industry should be sited far away from residential areas in order to prevent pollution and degradation of land. And also, industry should learn how to convert harmful industrial waste into harmless materials before disposing them. And they should also focus on recycling the non-biodegradable materials so as to reduce pollution. And law should be enacted, okay, that should set, which will serve as guidelines for operation of various industries in the environment. And they should also avoid disposing chemicals from metals mining directly into rivers. And they should also decentralize the location of the industry. So all these are ways to curb the problems created by